The atmosphere on The View was electric the moment Dwayne The Rock Johnson entered the studio. Dressed in a sleek charcoal suit that clung to his powerful frame, he greeted the crowd with his signature megawatt smile and a confident wave. The audience roared with excitement. After all, he wasn't just a global superstar. He was a household name who had transcended the worlds of sports, film, and even politics. The show's producers had teased the segment as and it was living up to the hype before it even began. The hosts welcomed him warmly. Well, most of them did. Joy Behar's grin had an edge to it. Sharp, knowing, and just a little mischievous. She leaned forward, resting her elbows on the desk, the way she always did when she was ready to poke the bear. Dwayne, you've played gods, warriors, and superheroes, she began casually, her tone laced with just enough sarcasm to make the hairs on the back of one's neck rise. And now there's talk of you running for office. Some say you're trying to muscle your way into politics. What do you say to those people who think it's just one big PR stunt? The question caught Dwayne off guard, not because it was unexpected, but because of the tone. There was a bite to it, a subtle condescension that lingered under the surface. He adjusted his seat, leaning back with a calm smile. I've always said I want to serve people, he replied. Whether that's through storytelling, giving back to the community, or maybe even public service someday. I stand by that. Joy pounced before he could continue. Sure, but isn't that a little idealistic? Voters want someone with policy experience, not someone who built a career on flexing muscles and raising eyebrows. No offense. The audience chuckled awkwardly. Dwayne's smile faded just slightly, his jaw tightening. I don't think wanting to make a difference is idealistic, he said slowly. I grew up with nothing. I watched my parents struggle to make ends meet. I know what hardship looks like, and I know how to work harder than most. Behar cocked her head. But don't you think America's had enough of celebrities thinking they can just jump into politics and fix things? You don't just slam your fists and solve real-world problems. Dwayne's brow furrowed. The light-hearted charm that had carried him through countless interviews suddenly disappeared. I don't claim to have all the answers, he said, but I've built a life on discipline, respect, and staying grounded. That's not branding. That's who I am. Anna Navarro shifted in her chair, sensing the rising heat. Sunny Hostin gave Joy a subtle side-eye, as if silently pleading with her to ease up, but Behar wasn't done. Well, you are a brand, Dwayne. You're everywhere. Protein powders, tequila, energy drinks, movies, even fashion lines. Some people think your talk about leadership is just another extension of your business empire. That was it. Dwayne's face hardened. He sat forward. In his seat, locking eyes with Joy, his voice dropped in volume but increased in intensity. You think I'm a walking billboard. You think I haven't bled, failed, and clawed my way to where I am? I've worked since I was 14. I had $7 in my pocket and a dream. Every move I've made, every brand I've built, it's all been from hustle. Nothing handed. Nothing. Fake. The room fell into a tense silence. Even the audience stopped shifting in their seats. Joy smirked, dismissing the seriousness. No need to get emotional. We're just talking. I'm not emotional, Dwayne said. I'm just done with people reducing everything I've built to a punchline. I came here to have a real conversation. But this, he gestured around the table. This feels like an ambush disguised as banter. Without another word. He reached down, pulled off his lapel mic, and stood up. For a moment, he just looked around at the panel. Disappointment in his eyes. A man who had dealt with critics all his life. But today, something had hit deeper. You want headlines? You got one now, he muttered. Then turned and walked off the set. The audience gasped audibly. Whoopi Goldberg tried to laugh it off and steer the segment into a lighthearted moment, but the damage was done. The cameras cut to commercial, but no one was thinking about the show anymore. The fallout was just beginning, and Dwayne Johnson's walk-off was about to become one of the most talked-about TV moments of the year. Backstage, the silence was thick. Dwayne Johnson strode through the corridors of The View, set with a storm in his eyes, his team scrambling to catch up. His usually calm demeanor had shattered on live television, and though he kept his movements collected, there was a visible fire behind every step. Interns and crew parted in his path like a wave, eyes wide, unsure whether to avoid eye contact or offer help. He stopped in his dressing room. planted both hands on the vanity table, and stared into the mirror. His chest rose and fell, slow, but heavy. For a moment, it wasn't The Rock that looked back at him. It was Dwayne, the kid who slept on mattresses with no frames, the son of a struggling wrestling legend, the man who had promised himself he'd never let anyone belittle the life he built with his own hands. Outside the room. Tension mounted. A producer knocked tentatively before cracking the door open. Mr. Johnson. Joy didn't mean I'm not interested in excuses, he said without turning. That wasn't a misunderstanding. That was disrespect. Plain and simple. The door closed again. For 5 minutes there was silence, until Whoopi Goldberg, seasoned and unshaken, quietly walked in. She didn't knock. She just entered. Like a trusted friend who didn't need permission. You handled it how you felt you needed to, she said softly. Dwayne looked over his shoulder. Did I? Whoopi nodded once. You did. But you need to know something. This show has a rhythm. Joy pokes, sometimes too much. But the truth is, she's been doing it for decades. It's not personal, it's her style. Dwayne turned. Around finally facing her, I've done hundreds of interviews. I've taken heat from journalists, comedians, critics, even politicians. But that was someone trying to corner me. Twist the narrative as if I'm a fraud. Whoopi took a breath. You're not. Everyone knows that. But public perception, it's a wild thing. Right now, Twitter's blowing up. People are watching that clip and drawing lines in the sand. Some love what you did. Others think you cracked under pressure. Let them, Dwayne said flatly. Meanwhile, in the studio, Joy Behar was trying to control the damage with her usual sarcasm. Well, I guess I'm not invited to his next movie premiere, she joked. Some audience members laughed uneasily. Others stayed silent. Online. The incident had exploded. The walk-off clip was already circulating on every major platform. Hashtag The Rock Walks Out, hashtag Joy vs Dwayne, and hashtag Respect the Grind were trending. News anchors debated it. Influencers reacted to it live, and fans took passionate stances. Some called Dwayne a hero for standing up against disrespect. Others argued he couldn't handle the pressure. Back in the dressing room. Whoopi's voice lowered. You've got a choice to make, Dwayne. Let this moment define you or reshape it. He rubbed his face, then sighed. You think I should go back out there? No, she said. I think you should go on your own terms, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. But don't let one woman's barbs rewrite your truth. Later that night, Dwayne posted a video on his social media. No filters, no dramatic background music, just him sitting in a hoodie, speaking calmly. Today on The View, things got heated, and yeah, I walked out. Not because I can't take criticism, I've been doing that my whole life. I walked out because sometimes standing up for yourself means stepping away. I've built my life on respect. For others, for myself, for the grind. And I won't let anyone, no matter how big their platform is, treat that journey like it's a joke. The video went viral within minutes. Celebrities chimed in with support. Fans flooded the comments with praise. Even critics admitted the message was powerful. The next morning, Joy addressed the moment on air. We jab, we jest, and sometimes, we go too far. I've been guilty of that before, and maybe yesterday was one of those times. She didn't apologize directly, but the tone was softer than usual. Dwayne never returned to The View, but he didn't need to. The world had seen who he really was, not the Hollywood machine, not the larger-than-life brand, but a man who fought for his name, his dignity, and his values. And for many, that moment was more real than any film he'd ever made.